Hey guys, how you doing today? We got NeanderPaul hanging out down with us today. How you been, man?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
You know what? We're just before we even go any further, we're doing this on September 11th, 2018.
Right.
17th anniversary. I think it's important that everybody just sort of take a moment and remember, and however, whatever that means to you. That, you know,
We survived it.
Yeah,
We're moving on.
hopefully the world will be in a better place. But this is one of those days where it just goes. You should mention it. So I thought I would mention it. Where were you when it happened?
I was about a half a block up the street, laying in bed with my wife.
Somebody call you or anything like that?
Yeah, a neighbor called me. Margie called me, and she's like, "Turn the TV on," and we just looked it down. We were like, "Oh my God, it's crazy."
I was living in Northern California. I got a phone call from my in-laws who live in Boston, and they just were calling to let me know they were okay. And I'm like, well, you live 40 miles away from the airport, so I'm glad you're okay. But it is what it is. But
yeah, people were scared.
Yeah, for the first time.
We didn't know if it was just going to keep continuing, you know, and all that. It was scary. Yeah,
for the first time in my life, I felt like I was unsafe in my own country, which was weird. Kind of a weird thing because we've been pretty spoiled in the United States, so it was a weird day. But anyway, what are you playing?
Well, I've got a Kramer, and when I got this guitar, it was sunburst. I know, and so
Never been a fan of the sunburst guitar.
So there's a friend of mine that comes in the store and he paints guitars, and I have to say some turn out better than others.
Right.
But he did really good on this one. It's Corvette yellow. I said, "Hey man, paint it fluorescent yellow." And he brought back, and he calls it Corvette yellow. And I'm like, that looks like a taxi cab. So I put the pick guard on there, the checkerboard. I put some DiMarzios in it, and it's playing pretty good. There's the whammy bar's a little stiff. The tremolo, I gotta maybe do some more work on that, but try to keep her in tune. But
what year is it? No idea?
I have no idea. No?
No serial number, no nothing on that?
No.
Oh. There you go.
So I got a couple $100 into it now, and some guitars, man, they're hard to sell. You don't want to sell them.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's funny. I asked him because I saw this video about the Gibson Firebird. This is a 2017 Gibson Firebird in Pelham Blue.
And let me say, it is mint.
Yeah, it's as nice as it gets. And I know he had a different one here. You got that Firebird Zero.
Firebird Zero.
And that's gone. I've never been a huge Firebird fan, but I will tell you, if you're a fat guy and you're looking for something to cover your belly, can't go wrong with a Firebird or an Explorer. Just saying, that's the way to go.
Yeah, big body Gretsch.
Yeah, these are. It's a nice guitar though. It's a very un-Gibson Gibson. It's got it's a flatter neck, like I guess it's the 60s profile, because the 50s profile, like I have I'm a Les Paul guy, and the 50s are really fat necks. This is more flat, almost Stratty-like in its construction, but it's nice, and it's got these locking tuners on the back that are stock.
Steinberger gearless locking tuners.
Yeah, they came right from the factory that way. So for all the criticism that Gibson takes for the past couple of years for their quality control, this is a very nice guitar. The Gibson takes a lot of heat, but this is as good. I love it.
When you're the best, people try to knock you down.
That's what they say. You know, the argument as to whether or not Gibson is the best, feel free to comment below. Remember,
I think as far as total revenue every year, I think they win in that.
Well, it's because their guitars are friggin' expensive. Really expensive. So. More often than not, but I like the classy look of the chrome on chrome. I think that's
I haven't seen any of the brand new 2019 stuff that's come out. But I know that everything is super traditional all the way. They have no funny Star Wars or like the, none of the weird...
Like the high performance stuff.
Yeah, none of the weird stuff.
They did away with the poker chip again, which is weird. Gibson is they're really inconsistent when it comes to it with their, because, and again, as a Les Paul guy, you know, on the toggle switch, on the pickup selector switch, on the Les Paul, it's got a little toggle switch ring on it that says rhythm and treble on it.
Right.
They did away with that. It sort of cleans up the top of the guitar.
Right.
Kind of like if you ever seen Zakk Wylde's guitars, they don't have a pickup ring on there. It's just sort of the flat part of the guitar.
I like those Wild Audio guitars.
Do you really?
I do. My guitar player in the Whiskey Dogs plays one.
I think they're
Slammer,
hideous.
what's up?
I think they're hideous. And you would be hard pressed to find a bigger fan of Zakk than me, but I hate those. I think they're hideous.
You ever played one?
No. I just think they're ugly. I think that the inlays on them. He's obviously trying to do something like the Gibson trapezoid, but it's the whole fret and I think the shapes. He's just trying too hard on that. I mean, he was been so associated with Les Pauls for his whole career that he's trying to do something different. It's essentially a Les Paul with a weird tail on it, and yeah, right. I'm not a fan. Don't like them, and I love Zakk's playing, and I love him with a Les Paul. But that's what I see him. I've got a couple of the Epiphone versions of his signatures because I can't spend $6,000 on a Les Paul.
It's funny that there's certain guitars that I want to keep, and if one happens to come in the store, and a lot of times I feel like I just want to keep one. So again, I kind of want a Kiesel. I was on Reverb looking at Kiesel today.
I don't know anything
and
about
it's
Kiesel.
got the fan frets and everything, but it was a 7-string. But I don't know if I should pull the trigger on it because what's weird when you have a little shop like this is you'll pull the trigger on a guitar, and then within a couple of weeks, one will come in at like half that price, and you'll be like, oh, why did I buy that?
You did a video. One of your other customers, I think it was Glenn, brought in a ZIMM'S, and the ZIMM'S looks good. That looks like something because again, it looks a lot like a Les Paul, but it's got that you know, is it aluminum, brushed aluminum, or stainless?
Props to Glenn,
yeah.
Man. When you coming back, Glenn? We need Junk Guitar Volume 3 pretty soon.
The ZIMM'S guitars are beautiful, just the detail and the intricate detail on them. And there's an art to guitars. I mean, I know a lot of people buy them and collect them, and I get that, but they're supposed to be played.
But now the old ones, there was actually some man with a little thing, and he did all that work, and he was engraving it. But now they just put a plate of metal aluminum in a CNC machine, and it.
Yeah, well, computers have made all that precision. Yeah.
Yeah, so the one that he has, it's still cool. I'm not going to...
Yeah, but I think his is a mass-produced one, whereas back in the day they were all done by hand, which means that they were all a little different.
Right.
But those are beautiful. I have an affinity, obviously, for the Les Paul, but there's so many different models and changes and stuff with them now that they've almost become a parody of themselves. There's so many of them. And I love Ernie Ball guitars. I think Ernie Ball guitars are beautiful. At least the Axis and the Music Man, the Eddie Van Halen model, which I love those as well.
I want one of those. I'm going to grab a guitar that for some reason I want to show you guys.
What is that? That's a Squire.
It is. So this is the 2017 or 2018 Squire Contemporary Series. So, it's got some cool stuff about it, and I don't know why I wanted one, but now there's one down here in the store, and it's just a made in China Squire, but it's got the humbuckers, it's got the 2-point trem, it's got the 22nd fret, sort of an
it looks unfinished, yeah.
Unfinished, but the carpet matches the drapes.
Which they did, which Fender Japan did for a while, and then there was also, you used to have a fat strat in here. The early 2000s, I think Fender was doing the color matched headstocks.
A Japanese one.
Yeah, but you also had another one that I bought from you, and then sold back to you. That I loved it, but I saw something else I wanted, so I just traded it back in.
And 6 months ago, I went through the Guitar Center up at Metro Center, and they had some of these. And out of all these guitars that were at the Guitar Center, for some reason I was drawn to these little Squires. And I'm like, man, should I buy one of those? So, anyhow, there's one down at the store, but this thing is for sale.
He doesn't want to sell it though, do you?
I don't really want to sell it. There's those guitars you just don't want to sell if you get one. Kramers and Charvels.
It's funny, yeah, because he's got a couple. I'll grab one of your Charvels. Hang on a second.
Okay.
So you're talking about guitars that are fun. They're just fun little guitars.
Right.
Charvel. The old Charvel, Japanese Charvels.
I know. This one is from '87. I think that one's from '86.
88.
Okay.
88 made in Japan.
I love the one knob, just the volume.
That's the old Eddie Van Halen effect. This was the Eddie Van Halen effect. Eddie Van Halen was the guy that went, okay, we're just going to slap a maple neck on a Strat body with one humbucker and a tremolo bar, and that's all you're getting. This one actually has,
for Eddie Van Halen.
This one actually has a tone knob on it. I think that's a Model 1 because my brother had one of those. This may be a 2. I don't know, but it's got a tone knob. It's the only difference between these two. Oh, and this one has an EMG in it. But yeah, they're just...
You know, I've had people tell me, bro, you are like stuck in the 80s. And I'm like, well, if you're going to be stuck somewhere, right? Might as well be stuck in the 80s. What if you were stuck in the 90s, all on heroin and everything, right? That wouldn't be good.
Here's the thing. 30 years from now, nobody is going to be sitting here talking about the guitar innovations of Dan Donegan from Disturbed. But we're still talking about Eddie, right? Because he's still doing it, and he's still doing it better than everybody else. So these things are, there's something fun about these little super, you know, pre-Super Strat Charvels.
Right.
They're such cool little guitars. And the idea that you have several of them is pretty interesting. Because you don't see Charvels out, you know, made in Japan Charvels. This thing has a scarf joint on the neck. Mm-hmm. It's such a great little banger.
Don't say banger.
Why? The necks on them are really flat.
Oh, there it is. What's news with Aerosmith lately? What are the boys up to?
Residency in Vegas. Joe Perry's birthday was yesterday. Joe Perry had a
happy
birthday
birthday, Joe.
So
I have a Joe Perry Les Paul up here.
You do have a Joe Perry Les Paul. I love this Joe Perry Les Paul, except somebody felt that they should modify it better than what Gibson had originally delivered.
Apparently, there's some sort of a mid-boost.
I'm walking in front of you.
Apparently, there's like a mid-boost circuit or something.
I'll tell you.
You got all the facts on that.
Yes,
huh?
I know how this works. Because I wanted one until I saw that this one was modified.
Well, let me get it down and hand it to you.
Yeah.
Don't want to make you do any extra work.
Quiet. All right, so this is a Joe Perry signature Les Paul, released 1997. This was the original Joe Perry signature guitar that Gibson put out. Now I know the headstock looks like it's a Gibson Studio, but it's not. It's just the way it was screened. That's the way Joe wanted it. He didn't want the Perloid logo in it. This thing has a baseball bat neck on it. It's a 59 profile on the neck, and it is well worn, as you can see on the top here. This is as cool a guitar. If you can get one stock, it's awesome. The original ones came with Gibson 57 Classic in the neck and a custom wound Joe Perry humbucker in the bridge. So that's what the pickup combination that came with it. You could only get it with this guitar. Joe also had a special circuit put in it. This one doesn't have it, which sucks.
But from what I know, from what Glenn told me, the original pickups are still in here.
Right. And
the circuit's been changed.
Yeah. What happened was, originally, this was, you got your Les Paul, your typical Les Paul volume, your rhythm pickup volume, your treble pickup volume. This was originally a master tone. It's probably still a tone knob, but it was a master tone that controlled all the tone on all the pickups. This one was another tone knob that was originally a push-pull pot. And on the pot had a circuit in it that was very similar to a wah pedal. So essentially, Joe could pull the pot and set this thing at a tone that was like a compressed, half-compressed wah pedal, and you get really weird, like mid-range boost or compression on it that changed the entire tone of the guitar.
You could do the intro of Sweet Emotion, the talk box stuff.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Without the talk box.
Well, he could do it with the talk box, but you would instead of having the wah pedal to compress, he could do it anywhere on stage. So he could have it and just do the have that wah effect just by this push-pull pot. Idiots have replaced these, and whomever Dane got this from was one of those. Because you should never have replaced it. This guitar.
That guy's going to come back in here, My customers always come back in here and hang out.
I think that.
And he's going to say, "Hey, I saw that video that you and NeanderPaul did."
I think that anybody that's screwed with the original circuitry for this guitar is an idiot, because that was one of the things that made this unique. Why would you do that? Why would you buy a unique guitar and then take the thing about it that's unique away? It doesn't make any sense to me.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that was a bad move. And if the original owner of this guitar is watching this, you ruined a great guitar. I mean, it's not ruined, but it's not what it's supposed to be.
And it's like $500 to put it back how it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, the cost to reset it to where it was is almost as much as the guitar now. But if you found one of these in mint condition, with that circuitry still in it, in original condition, with the original case, does this have the original case?
No, it doesn't.
No. The original case was a black, it
showed
black.
up in an Epiphone case.
Did it? Yeah. The original one, the hardware on this is black. It's got locking tuners on it. They're Grover locking tuners. The original guitar case for this was black, all jet black. The hardware matched all the black hardware as far as the latches and stuff. It had the shroud, the satin shroud, with Joe Perry's signature and an Aerosmith logo on it and stuff like that. If you can find this guitar with all of that stuff in the case candy, had a note, a letter from Joe thanking you for buying the guitar, certificate of authenticity, all that stuff, you'll pay several $1,000s for that guitar. Now, this one is significantly less than that, and you get most of it without the expense.
So Aerosmith is in Las Vegas.
Yeah, they're doing a residency up in Vegas.
Would they like kick Celine out or what?
No, there are more than one place to play in Vegas. I'm not sure you knew this.
Did they kick Britney out?
No, I'm sure that's where you'd go on the night off though. If you're Aerosmith, you go hit the Britney show on the night off. Because she looks fantastic still.
That would be so much fun.
But this is still a really nice guitar. It's just missing the uniqueness of it.
Right.
The finish these were all hand finished back in the day, so they each one looked different. The Perloid pickguard is original. The Perloid truss rod cover is original. These are cool guitars, regardless of the changes made to it. It's still a cool Les Paul. It's just, I wish that circuit were still in it. All right, buy it. This would be the way I'd walk out of here with it today. But it's still a Les Paul, man.
Yeah. Joe Perry had to go and associate himself with Johnny Depp. That song in C?
What?
It's in C, isn't it?
In any event.
And this one that I am holding is a 1976 deluxe, and it has been refinished.
Which means you can't see the
Pelham blue.
You can't see the pancake seams on it anymore. Seems a little thinner. Like it's thinner than this. If you put them next to each other,
Right.
it's a thinner body. The deluxe
It doesn't have that big top carve that this one has.
It's still carved, but it's not
Right.
as pronounced. But it's not even as deep. Like the Norlands, for those that don't know, the 70s Les Pauls were made by CMI Norland, was the company that owned Gibson back then. They made pancake bodies, so there were several different pieces of wood stacked on each other and glued, almost like a sandwich. Whereas this is one solid piece. It started out as one solid piece of mahogany.
And
you
this
can't
thing
see the
has,
seams
it's
on it.
been refinished, or I mean refinished and refretted. So you can kind of see that, but nice little Gibsons.
That is a great playing guitar. That plays awesome. It's not a collector's guitar, it's a player's guitar, but it's a great player's guitar. I don't see any overt evidence of a headstock repair on it.
No, I don't think so either.
But it has been refinished, and it's an interesting finish because I normally don't like Pelham blue, despite the fact that we started this whole video off with me holding that Firebird. But on this deluxe, that Pelham blue looks pretty good. The Pelham blue with the black trim looks pretty cool. And remember, all of the deluxes back then in the 70s had the old Epiphone mini humbuckers in them. So it's a vintage guitar with a little bit of modern spill on it. It's got the volute, the headstock volute, although it's not real pronounced like other ones. It's a great guitar.
Paul McCartney, so Paul McCartney's out and about.
Going to be playing here in Phoenix in June of 2019. They've already announced the tickets go on sale next week. We're recording this on September 11th, so September 17th, tickets go on sale.
Have you ever seen McCartney live?
No.
I never have either.
And he's maybe our greatest living rock star.
It's too hard to get tickets, huh?
Ticket prices will be expensive.
Right.
But we're giving them away on the air at the radio station that I work at, which happens to be not the Diamondbacks. I had a KSLX shirt on earlier.
KSLX.
I love the neck on this. The neck on this thing is filthy. It's huge.
And this thing is super skinny.
Yeah. But that plays a lot faster than this one.
I used to think that a thinner neck and smaller, like 9-gauge strings, I'd be faster. But I don't know if that theory is correct.
9-gauge strings. I mean, obviously, the thicker the string, the more resistance it's going to put on your finger, the more you're going to feel on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're talking about the lighter gauge strings. I think on any guitar, lighter gauge strings is going to give you a softer response. You start getting those heavy gauge strings where your low E is up in the 50s.
You got to file the fret.
You gotta take the nut to get that thing down in there. And all that's really good for is if you're going to do it to really detune it. You don't really need to go, to me, anything more than 46, 48 on your low E. That's unless you're playing, drop C, drop D tuning. They got it right in the 50s. Leo Fender and Les Paul got it right from the beginning. Everything else is a variation of that.
It is amazing. The very first telly that he made in 1952 or whatever.
Originally called the Broadcaster, by the way.
And you could take that out to a gig today and be 100% content with it.
Oh yeah, no, they're great guitars. Again, every guitar since that time, 1952, 1954, he's talking about the Telecaster, the Les Paul, the Stratocaster, they got it right. Everything else has been sort of a variation off that, and very few of those variations have endured.
Of a difference.
Yeah, have endured. You know what I mean?
You don't need it.
The biggest, I think, I won't say improvement, but the biggest innovation was the 24 frets, going up to 24 frets. And having those higher frets being scalloped like the ZIMM'S and some of those other custom guitar companies. Making that, and obviously,
and then possibly even the humbucker.
Well, yeah.
compared to a single coil was a big step up. But it's not like you couldn't get through a gig with a single coil, you know.
Well, they have distinctly different feels to them. And now, I mean, obviously, a lot of the Gibsons have push-pull pots on it to try to negate the idea. Because stacked humbuckers, you know, you got those stacks. They look like a single coil, but they're a stacked humbucker. Mm-hmm. You know, you're still going to get the humbucker sound, but you can get that single coil sound in the second and fourth position, that out of phase sound. Gibson has just that push-pull pot gives you the telly sound, closer to the telly sound than a Strat sound, just because of the way the pickups are oriented.
That is right.
There's just something meaty about it.
We are playing guitar, man.
That's how I spent my September 11th.
Improv.
I spent my September 11th hanging out with it. I like this guitar. I just wish it were. I wish they hadn't done that. Don't do that. Don't do it. If you're gonna buy a guitar that has a special circuit, that's what makes it special.
That's right. It's funny, unless somebody was maybe hurting for money and sold it or something.
Yeah, I wish it didn't. Look, and this one comes with a removable knob.
You know why that comes off there so easy is because everybody
tries to do the push-pull.
Yeah.
Everybody that's trying to buy this guitar is looking for that circuit. Don't do it.
That thing has been out since I think that's in 1996.
97.
97. So it's had 21 years of people pulling on that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a 97.
Pretty cool, though. Pretty cool.
97, made on the 210th day of 1997. Whatever that was. And I think it's the 560 some odd. 210th day of 1997. Whatever day that was. Great guitars.
That would be sometime in August.
That's all I got.
Well, Paul, it's been great having you down here today.
Has it?
It really has. I mean, what else would I be doing down here today without you hanging out?
You'd be doing the same thing you're doing now, except you'd be alone.
I play along with backing tracks a lot. I'm addicted to just putting on backing tracks in A minor, working on improvising lead guitar. The whole YouTube world, it's crazy how you don't need a guitar teacher anymore.
Marty Schwartz, everybody.
I know. As great as the internet is and YouTube is, you know, it's got its downfalls about it too. It's putting people out of business unless they adapt to just giving lessons online, you know. I'm more of a Strat guy, though.
See, I love the Les Paul.
I love the Strat style stuff.
The blues.
I know, huh?
I'm gonna tap out.
Guys, thank you for watching. And I'll talk to you guys later, all right? And again, Paul, thanks for coming in today. Look, he's disappeared. Oh, there he is. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.